Welcome to this module where we are going to explore the practical auditing of a web page's SEO elements in a scalable way. This is the Python script that we are going to be utilizing, and I have presented the annotated version of this Python script as part of the resources that accompany this module. The annotation helps you to understand what every single line of code is supposed to help you accomplish, and so you know exactly why every single line of code exists and its function in providing you with the final results. So the first thing we would need to have is that we need to have an export file that contains a list of keywords and URLs and their ranking positions. You can always use search analytics for sheets. If you have a search console access to a property, you can use search analytics for sheets to export in bulk the list of all of your keywords, their ranking positions, and the URLs that are responsible for their relevance to that website. But in this first phase of the module, I'm going to be using a popularly known e-commerce website in Nigeria called Konga, and I'm going to be using Ahrefs or SEMrush or any other tool of choice to export the audit file, the file that's going to define the scope of the audits that this Python script is going to execute for us. So I'm going to head into Ahrefs right now, embed Konga. I'm going to go to organic keywords, and this is the list of organic keywords, and then I could export the entire list. I don't need everything. Let me just get the most important keywords that do not contain the brand name. So I'll just conduct, or we can just conduct, a filtration process that says keyword doesn't contain the brand name. Now this is what we are going to attempt to export. Click the export. I just need the first 1000 URLs. And that's the export file here. It's now available. The next phase is going to involve us importing our export file right into Google Sheets for ease of manipulation. So we could just import the export file directly, and it's going to be available for us right here. We would append it to the current sheet to save time, and we are going to then do some basic manipulation or data cleaning to prepare the file for the work that we are actually trying to accomplish. So this is the sheet. Just clean it up. There are certain columns that we do not need from this export file, right? And those columns are indicated for us within the code itself. In this section of the code, step 1, it tells us that the Excel file that we are going to reference here needs to have its columns arranged in this order: URL, keyword, position, and volume. So we only need about 4 columns. We need keyword, we need volume, we need URL, and we need position. So we will take the position column and the URL column. We could use the current URL as the default for URL, and every other column from this point on is not really needed for this script to work. So we could go ahead to delete every other column. Now we have to ensure that all of our columns are named exactly as they appear within this comment headline. So URL has to appear as URL, keyword has to appear as keyword, position has to appear as position, and volume has to appear as volume. Keyword, volume, URL, and position. Another thing we have to make sure to do is we have to remove all white spaces to avoid the possibility of an error popping up. So all blank spaces have to be eliminated across all columns. Blank spaces will be eliminated like this. And then we'll check for other blank spaces if they exist across this column. No blank spaces. There are blank spaces, no blank spaces, and are there blank spaces here? We don't find any blank spaces. So that's it. We have the sheet already organized: URL, keyword, position, volume. So it needs to be URL first, keyword second, position third, and volume fourth. For the purposes of aesthetics, I would just color it this way, and I'm going to ensure that all of the URLs share the same filters. That's it. Another thing we have to note is that the Excel file that is being referenced in the code is called sheet file. I cannot use an untitled spreadsheet, so I'm going to attempt to give this a name. Test sheet file. Then all we have to do here is to download it as an Excel file. Since the name is test sheet file, copy this name. And now to import the file into the Python script in Google Colab, because we are using Google Collaboratory, what you have to do here is to click on this folder icon and wait till all of the file icons are visible to you. Click on the upload icon here and import the test sheet file. Now that you've imported a file called test sheet file, the file that is referenced in this line of the code has to be the same as the file name here. So you can just change the name here to test sheet file. Another thing to note is that you're going to get an export file. You can give it any name that you want. The name I gave this is audit exports. I could name it test audit export. You could give it any name that you want. And once you have done that, all you have to do now is to click on runtime and click on run all, and the script would run by itself. And now the script has concluded its execution, and we can see our audit export file here. This file now needs to be downloaded, and after it's been downloaded, it can now be opened within Google Sheets to see what the on-page SEO audit looks like. We would insert a new sheet, and this is the result that you get. As we can see, we got an Excel file returned to us with all of the information that we need to conduct a snapshot assessment of the on-page SEO situation of this site. You would see we have URLs, we have keywords. We can see the search volume of the keyword, showing how important this keyword is. We can see where the site is ranking for the keyword, and we can see whether or not the keyword occurs in the title tag. It occurs there. The keyword occurs in the meta description, fine, but the keyword does not occur in the H1 tag, in the H2 tag, or in the paragraph. So when the SEO or content specialist needs to optimize this website for this keyword, this is a page that needs to achieve optimization within its heading tags and within its paragraphs. The keyword needs to be referenced in the paragraphs and in the heading tags to improve the ranking position from 94 to something more beneficial. And the same can be said of other keywords here. We have a keyword called Kabliev, has a 25k search volume, and this keyword does not occur in the title tag, in the meta description, in the H1 tag, in the H2 tag, or in any of the paragraphs. So this is another keyword that can benefit from on-page SEO optimization, and we can go on and on. So that's what we can use this Python script to achieve. And just as a caveat, when I initially created this script and tried running it, it did not work because I was importing modules like Cloud Scraper, which I had not yet installed, right? So I added these 4 lines to ensure that all of the modules that we are going to be importing are not modules that we do not yet have access to within this development environment. So that's it. Best of luck.